What's going on, guys? This is Matei with Tech Vitamins, and today I'm going to give you some vitamins for your music production, health, and knowledge. And we're going to do that by looking at all the new features in Pro Tools 10. I just picked up Pro Tools 10 on Black Friday, had a couple of days to play with it, check out the Avid website to see what was new. So I just wanted to share that with you. Hopefully I can get through this video fairly quickly, and I'm going to cover at least 90% of everything that has been changed, updated, or included in this new version. So let's start off with some of the basics. Right away, when you let's say we want to create a new session, or let me start with this. When you in Pro Tools 10 now, the extension files have changed to .ptx. They are no longer .ptf. But note that PTX is not backwards compatible with older version of Pro Tools, only for the new ones. But if you open up a PTF in Pro Tools 10 from a previous version, it will still save your PTF file. But if you save any changes and you create a new save in Pro Tools 10, it'll create an additional file .ptx, so you will have both. But I mean, at least that way you can open it back in an older version if needed. Second feature that we will notice is if I go into new session, I have the ability now to select a 32-bit float option when I create a track, and you can choose the sample rate to be whatever you're going to have it. But that's very exciting. This increases the dynamic range for your mixing, so that way it avoids clipping. Especially when you record, but most importantly when you mix. So that's a great feature. I'm very excited they put that in there. Another new feature is this new checkbox that says interleaved. What that allows you to do is once you create your session, you're able to import or use multi-channel files inside your session in Pro Tools 10, even with the regular version, which previously that was not available. You had to have the HD to work with multiple channels. They were above 2 channels, just regular stereo. So that's a cool new feature. I don't think I will use it for my personal music production, but it is there, so go ahead and note that. Second thing is, once you have your session created, if you go into setup and session, you will see that I can actually change some of these settings inside the session before I save it again, which is cool. This wasn't available in previous versions either. So I can go from 32-bit float to a lower bit version. I can also change my clock source, pan depth, and so forth. And I can also change my file type to AIFF. So take a note of that. This wasn't available before, and I like that feature as well. Going forward, let's take a look at some enhancements in the system that they've made. Let's first take a look at the playback engine. You will notice that here they've increased the delay compensation for Pro Tools 10. So in Pro Tools 9 this was introduced for the regular Pro Tools versions, which is awesome. But here we see that it has been increased. So since I'm in a 96 kilohertz session, my maximum delay compensation is now around 32,000 samples. If you are working with like a 192 kilohertz session, this will double, and also will halve if you're working with a 48 kilohertz or 44.1 kilohertz session. Another thing we notice is that there is no longer an option or drop down for the cache size for these songs. Now the reason is that in Pro Tools 10, specifically in HD, and the version with complete production toolkit is now sending the WAV files into a RAM first before they're played back. Now this is not available for the regular Pro Tools 10 in terms of using other external sources, but what this does, if you have the HD version or the complete production toolkit, this will allow you to play back sessions from a thumb drive or a USB drive, which is cool. I wish this was available for regular Pro Tools 10, but it's not currently available. But you no longer have to worry about using external drives with certain FireWire connections or USB 3s or certain speed connections. So this is a cool feature, especially for very fast systems with a lot of RAM. Another system change that has been made is that they increased the number of voiceable tracks. You can look up the details on this on the Avid website, but basically for the HD system and the Pro Tools 10 with complete production toolkit, you now have 768 tracks available for as voiceable tracks. For regular Pro Tools 10 is only 128. And in terms of the auxiliary tracks, you can have 512 in the HD and complete production toolkit versions, and only 128 with just Pro Tools 10. But for my purpose, 128 tracks to have that ability is, it's more than I need for most of the stuff I've worked with. So that's a new improvement in the track amount. Let's take a look at some of the new importing and exporting features. You will notice that I can now import and export to AAF and OMF files, and also when I'm importing these such files, it stores the information about the 5.1 and 7.1 surround sound system in it. For the AF sequences, so I'm able to import it into Pro Tools 10, which before in other versions wasn't available. So now that I have a couple WAV files in here on this particular track, let me show you the new features in exporting and importing. For starters, I can select just this one track and export it as a session, which is cool because let's say you just want to export all your vocal tracks or just the instrumental with all the instrumental tracks, buses and submixes and all that. All you got to do is select them and export them as a new session. This is a much quicker way of filtering things out and being able to import certain things into other sessions. So I like that new feature. During importing, let's say I want to import a new session data. This is a new feature that's been introduced. Let's say I'm importing this file right here. You see this dialog box, there's a checkbox that says adjust session start time to match source start time. Now this would match the times together if they were different. The reason this is disabled or grayed out right now is because both of my sessions start at the same time, so it's not really available for this particular example, but note this new feature in Pro Tools 10. Another thing that has to do with is not with importing and exporting, but it's really bouncing the file. Let's say I want to bounce the file to disk. If I choose it as interleaved file, I have the ability now to add it directly into my iTunes library right away, as well as share it with my SoundCloud account. If I do that, if I choose, let's say, the share with SoundCloud account, the next part will prompt me to enter my login information and define the track and select certain options you have during uploading stuff to SoundCloud. So that's a very neat feature. It allows you to very quickly share your work with the outside world or with anybody you're collaborating with. So I like that a lot. That's pretty cool. Other new features in terms of the system and the audio engine is, we already mentioned the cache size. The second one is that Pro Tools 10 now supports RAID and network drives, but this depends on the number of drives, the bandwidth and the connection mode and some other specs. But do note that now you can have RAID systems running Pro Tools 10. This is probably more beneficial for larger studios and networks of musicians. That's not really applicable to anything I'm working with, but that is a new feature. And we have mentioned that we can select the new AF and OMF tracks, and it allows us to import the 5.1 and 7.1 definition files and information, so that's new as well. Moving forward, let's go ahead and take a look at the interface and some of the nomenclature changes that have happened in Pro Tools 10. The very first one, and probably most noticeable, is the fact that now these are called clips. They're no longer regions. And everywhere it used to say regions and now clips, you notice we have the clips window right here. Also in this drop down, I'm going to be working with clips as opposed to, I'm sorry, that's better seen in a MIDI file or instrument file, that I have clips instead of regions. So that's one of the major changes. Make sure you take a note of that. Second small one is that now instead of the trimmer tool, they're calling this the trim tool, and the little tooltip is not coming up, but take a note that it's a trim tool instead of trimmer. Also, in terms of the start and end markers, which used to be the name for them before, now they're called in and out points. Something small that probably wouldn't never notice is if I select the time code right here to be displayed before, in older versions it used to be 2 words. Now it's merged together in 1 word. Another thing that if you're working with Audio Suite plugins, let's say I want to just bring up anything, this deverb right here. Instead of processing the plugin, now it's called render, which I actually prefer. It's a nicer way of doing it. And also, you no longer have the preview button. You have a little a little speaker icon, just like you do in the workplace screen to preview your sound files. So as long as it says preview, I kind of like that. It's not really something that's going to affect me, but take a note of those changes. I think some of these changes have been made to kind of merge the video scoring functionality of Pro Tools and working with video clips and movies into a regular music production. So that's just what I think, why they did the clip, the change and the rendering. But, you know, it's something to note. And the last thing in terms of new changes and additions is that we have a new menu called Marketplace. This will take you to your account in Avid very quickly. It also can take you to the plugins marketplace, so you can look at and review some plugins. Now, I'm hoping that they are giving you, since they're giving you the ability to connect to the internet, to either your accounts or to view other plugins, that they have taken care of the issues that resulted in the past with having your Wi-Fi or pretty much internet on while you were using Pro Tools. So I gotta check the manual for that, but if anybody finds it out, you know, post a comment under this video. Let me know if they have made any changes to this issue, or if Avid is still recommending that you leave your Wi-Fi and internet connection off while you're using Pro Tools. But anyways, that's some of the nomenclature changes that have been made. Let's look at the edit window changes. We see that we have 2 new indicators. One, it's kind of hard to see up top, but it's one for solo status and one for muted status. If I was to mute a track, this thing will light up and basically just lets you know that there are muted tracks in your session. If you are wondering that, you know, especially if you're working with a lot of tracks like I am. Look at my Mixboard, I got tons of stuff open here. So if you want to quickly find out if something is muted, that icon will show you that. Now we have another icon right next to it, which is for the solo status. This will show you anything that's soloed out. Let's say I solo this track, you see this lights up yellow. Now the cool thing about the solo status is that if I click that up here, it'll unsolo the tracks that were previously soloed, so that way I don't have to look for them. It's just clicking that button will simply unsolo all the tracks. Now that's not available with the mute button, because the mute button only shows you what's muted, and the reason is because you can also perform automation with muting, and you cannot perform automation with soloing. So for that reason, they don't want to, you know, have you be able to turn that on and off, because you may have some automation going in one of your tracks. Let's go ahead and continue. Actually, there's one more and last change. They added a new button, which is the automation that follows edit. This was not available in the previous versions. I mean, I'm sorry, it was available, but you had to go through the options menu to access that feature. Now it's a button under your regular control, so that's another new feature. Let's continue and look at what they've done with fading. Now, in one cool thing that I like a lot, let me actually change this first. Let me change the color palette on this one file so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's say we make that yellow. When you do crossfades, you're able to see how it crossfades the file. So since I have my Smart Tool selected, and I'm going to go ahead and implement this crossfade, you see that if I zoom in, it has nicely merged it together, and I can actually visually see it. I think that's a great feature, and I like it a lot. If you want to disable it or not view it, you simply go to waveforms and uncheck the overlap crossfades. But I like that feature a lot. Another thing about fade files is that Pro Tools 10 no longer has a separate file for your fade files or folder, which makes it more efficient, makes it quicker. It doesn't have to load as much in the beginning when launching your session. And pretty much everything in Pro Tools 10, all the fade files are in real time, which is useful. Now, if you're going to open a older PTF file, with fade file folders in it. Pro Tools 10 will convert it to real-time fades, but it will keep that folder. It won't get rid of it, because that way you can still open your sessions on older versions of Pro Tools. So just take a note of that. But that is a new feature and new enhancements about how Pro Tools 10 handles fade files in this version. Going forward, let's take a look at one of the biggest changes that have been made is the clips, the way we treat clips, what we can do with them, and so forth. Now, this is an awesome feature. Now with any clip, you can go ahead and turn up the gain with this little icon right there before the sound goes into your track. So you can then use your fader on top of that, or if you're routing it to a bus, all this happens before it's routed to the bus. So that's huge, to be able to change the gain within the clip. I like that a lot. Another cool thing you can do by either going to view through the WAV files, and actually, I'm sorry, to the clip right here, you can see the clip gain line. You can also access that by right-clicking on this and going to clip gain, and hide clip gain line. You see it, but we want to view it right now. So if you have the Smart Tool selected, you can increase and decrease it this way as well. And you can also perform automation. If I just go with my hand tool, I can individually alter where the clip gain is being increased or decreased. I can also use my pencil tool to draw in the clip gain like that, which is very cool. And just like with other automation, I can simply copy this clip gain and I can paste it in here, which is cool. For example, or different, on different clip files. So this is a very useful feature. I like it a lot. You can also take a note that when doing crossfading, the clip gain will show both clip gains. And let me just merge this back into here because we don't have the opportunity to see it. And let me do a crossfade on it. You will see both of these, and I think they're actually going to end up being in the same spot. Actually, no, you see it. This line right there is lower than the other line, so take a note of that. Also, when we right-click on the clip gain fader, I can clear the clip gain, bypass it, or render it right there to make it permanent for that WAV file, which is cool. And I can take another note that now when you do clip groups, when you group these, let's say, two clips together, Pro Tools 10 creates a new file with the format of .cgrp. These are not compatible with older versions of Pro Tools, but take a note that Pro Tools 10 does do this. Another very useful feature having to do with clips is that I can select my clip in the clip window right here, right click on it, and go to Reveal and Explore, and this will show you the actual folder where this sample or whatever is stored in. And this is very useful to me or to anybody that's working with samples. Let's say you got a bunch of folders, bunch of samples in your system, and you work with, like, let's say a guitar riff that has other chord progressions or chord progression samples in it, and you can't remember which folder it was. You can simply find the first one, and then it will show you the rest. So that's a very neat feature that I'm excited about. Alright, moving forward, let's take into the mix window. What you can do here, this is a feature that I like a lot, and what Pro Tools 10 has introduced is called bus interrogation, which means I can very quickly find out or figure out which tracks are routed into which buses and so forth. So let me show you an example. Let's say I want to know all the tracks that are being routed to my female sub mix right here, and let's say I had these all over the place, I wouldn't be able to know it. I can click on the input and I can say select, for example, I can select all the assignments to this, which just simply selects everything. That's a neat feature. I can also go ahead and right click on this and show them, so it's kind of a similar thing, but it will show me all the different assignments that are routed to this particular submix. And the one thing that I like the most is show only assignments to female main vocal submix. When I do that, it eliminates everything else, and now it allows me to work with just these tracks, so I can do certain mixing on them and see how it's performing within the mix. Now I like this a lot because this, at least for me, eliminates the need to use groups in your tracks, because the only reason I would use groups before is to be able to isolate certain tracks together with their submix, so I can see how the volume levels were behaving within my session. But now you can simply do that by doing this bus interrogation. So this is a great feature in my opinion. I like it a lot, and you can use it both in output and input, or any file path. If you want to find the file path of a track, you can do it on there. And if you want to go back to your original mix window view, you just simply say restore previously shown tracks. So that's one feature that I like a lot in Pro Tools 10. Let's go ahead and take a look at what new things they have in terms of plugins and plugin format. Take a note that Avid has introduced a new plugin format for all their future plugins that they're going to be developing. That format is .aax. It stands for Avid Audio Extension File, and you will see this a lot in the near future. Hopefully some of the third-party plugin manufacturers will start making plugins in this format as well. Second thing is, let's take a look at the new plugins that are introduced. Now in Pro Tools 10 we have 3 new plugins. The first one is the Avid Down Mixer. The second one is the Channel Strip plugin, and the third one is the Mod Delay 3 plugin. Now, the Avid Down Mixer is only available in the HD platform or Pro Tools 10 that has Complete Production Toolkit. And basically what it does is it automatically mixes multi-channel surround sound tracks into stereo tracks. But again, it only ships with HD or Complete Production Toolkit, so I can't actually show you an example of that in this. But let's go ahead and take a look at the Channel Strip plugin, which is very cool. And this plugin is pretty extensive. It can be used in a lot of different things, and it also shows you kind of the new interface design that Avid has implemented to their plugins, and you'll see this a lot in the future as well, according to their website. But this particular plugin can be used in many different things. You can use it on a single track, you can use it on a mixed bus, or you can use it during mastering as well, because you see we have the expand gate option here. We got the limiter as well, or compressor. We got the sidechain ability right here, or we can see all of our things, tag release individually. We have our EQ down here and some filtering at the top. So it's a very cool plugin. I can't wait to use it. The other plugin that I mentioned was, let's take a look at that, is the delay plugin, the Mod 3 delay. I haven't used this yet, but again, it shows you the new interface with Avid, and I am going to use this in my new upcoming projects. Can't wait to see what this can do. One thing I want to show you for this plugin is what it can do as an audio suite plugin. Let me expand this file I have right here, but we have a simple guitar riff right here. Let me go ahead and play that for you so you can hear it. And let's say I select that and I want to apply my audio suite, the Mod 3 on there, and this is very cool. You can reverse the delay or reverb on this by hitting this reverse button. So let's say from the setup I choose like something like echo, and I want to preview it. Okay, I can go ahead and reverse that, which is cool. So you see how it does that right there. You were able to do that before with doing a couple different commands to get you to be able to do this, but now you can simply do it with this one reverse button. It's very cool, and again, it reverses the delay or reverb, and you can go ahead and play with that. It's going to give you a lot of new possibilities of what you can do with effects and mixing. While we're on the subject of audio suite plugins, a new feature that Pro Tools 10 has is that you can open up multiple audio suite plugins at a time by simply clicking this red button, or I think it's holding Shift and Alternate as well to be able to do this. Now, this was available before in the regular, like if you had plugins on a track, you were able to do this, display multiple of these at a time, but you weren't able to do this for audio suite plugins. So now you can do it in the same way. It's a new feature in Pro Tools 10. Take a note of that. Moving forward, you can in the plugin enhancements, you can also render a clip by the clip option to preserve the original WAV files and fade the information, and it puts handles on this clip so you can drag them for up to 60 seconds to extend the rendering. So if I was to alter this and I choose that option, I can basically retain the original file, and if I ever need to get back to it, I simply extend it because it saves that information. So that's another cool feature in terms of the Audio Suite plugins and plugins in general. Let's go ahead and finish this up by showing you the help menu. The help menu allows you to quickly access the Avid forums and any knowledge-based files that Avid makes available. And the cool thing about that is that if Avid makes a new change into their user manual or the README file, as soon as they post it online, you have that available for you in real time. So those changes are available because now you can access it this way. So I think that covers all the new features in Pro Tools 10. Again, I think I've been able to cover at least 90% of everything that has been changed, introduced, or altered. And let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully this was helpful. You now have a better understanding of what's available. Please write some comments. Let me know what your new favorite features are in Pro Tools 10. And I hope you enjoyed this video and got a lot out of it. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next time.